Hi. Hi. I'm Steve, the designer and artist behind Envol Studio. Today we are in the studio at Global Street Art with Pilot Pens, getting creative. So we're going to paint this clock. We are looking at time, and you know, through lockdown we've spent a lot of time doing a lot of nothing. One thing I love and miss dearly, much like everyone, is the freedom to travel. So there's been a lot of daydreaming and a lot of desire for escapism and stuff like this. So I was looking through a bunch of old photos and I stayed in a place in Essaouira in Morocco, had a really amazing time. And the hotel was really incredible. Moroccan design is really interesting, but for me it kind of draws parallels to a lot of Art Deco design. Really kind of clean, monolithic structures and archways and things like this, which I adore. And so I'm kind of taking a bit of that onto the clock. So I was looking through some photos and just cobbling together a few bits, making a very abstract interpretation of that time. Haha. Well, Morocco is very known for its lovely dusty pinks and terracotta oranges that come from the soil, and there's lots of amazing pottery and stuff like that comes from it. So I think we're going to keep it really monotone today, and kind of it's kind of an exact replication of this hotel in Essaouira. So these colours are perfect for said thing. So yeah, we're going to try and get into this, see if we can break free, and try and illustrate something over the white surface of the clock, and piece it back together, and hopefully we'll still have a functioning clock at the end, and taking it away from this minimal aesthetic into something a bit more funky. So we deconstructed the clock. That was no mean feat. We managed to get to the bare bones of the clock, or the cake dish as it more sort of resembles now, and put some ghost lines in, and we're starting to block out all the colour fills, and try and add a little bit of perspective. Trying to go with the flow, trying to keep this very experimental and not sort of overly planned, but quite enjoying how some of the numbers are still coming through. So we might keep a little bit of this, because at the end of the day, we want it to be a functioning clock, tick-tock. So yeah, so now I'm kind of measuring out the steps, and this is kind of the entrance to a place that I stayed, and then we've got some abstractions of trees. I guess sketching the main outlines is always the most nerve-wracking part, but becomes the most enjoyable part when you just kind of get one line exactly where you want it to be, and you find yourself getting into a bit of a state of flow, so that's quite nice. You kind of start to switch off after a little while, and you get the first couple of lines going your way. Yeah, I'm just trying to use it as a bit of a guide, because I want to keep a nice straight line down here. So you've got the 6 and the 12, and you can kind of see the clear split of the clock. We're going to keep this 1 in here and have a little think about what to do around here. But just going to block out with this darker colour to make some steps, give it a bit of depth. And then we have a couple of abstractions kind of going here of trees, and this is kind of symbolising the sun. It's been good fun. It's nice to sort of challenge yourself and use different objects as canvases. That was a little bit unexpected. It was quite a minimalist Swiss designed clock. And I think the happy accident is it's very much reminding me of the perpetual calendar which you find on watches, where you have so it's, you know, an exact measurement of time based on the moon, which is kind of signified here, and that was a bit of a happy accident really. So it was nice to see it have an element of surprise at the end. I really like the material on the chisel tip. It's a lot harder than other pens that I've used, so you don't have to be so nervous about going in with like a wider tip and still getting like a nice crisp line. So and this colour was especially good along with the kind of Klein sort of blue, and the chisel tip's really nice because you still get to a nice fine point, but the distribution of paint is quite generous. So yeah, first I was kind of going around with the smaller one, and it was making things a little bit juddery, but after a while it found that these guys, yeah, they really came into their own. So you can kind of do a lot with one pen. Yeah, this will be going up on envol.studio on Instagram. You can find all sorts there. It's a bit of a scrapbook of everything we do, from design to street art murals and typographic animations and things like this. And we've got a website, envolstudio.com, where it's more of a showcase of our work with brands. So take a peek.